Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dana with the Data Wednesday. Yes. Hi, everybody. So we're gonna have a really good show. It's going to be a full show today. I have two guests, of course. My weekly correspondent, Honey P. Ray from Chicago. She's going to be up in a couple of minutes. And I'm going to have Mr. Charles Rambo come back on so we could talk a little bit about the corruption in Fulton County. Thank you, Peter. He said he loves the music. You know what? I was going to change it, but I like it too. That's going to be my signature intro music, right? When I do my shows. Yeah. So we have to talk about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Senate confirmation, honey. It got heated between him and Pocahontas and a couple other people. I got the clips. We also got to talk about Roland Martin. He is coming unhinged over these Trump policies. Yes, he is. Tiffany Henyard, the mayor, what is that, Dalton City, right outside Chicago, brawling, wig falling off. It's time for her to go. It's really time for her to go. Yes. What else? Yes, I'm gonna talk about Jasmine Crockett, the press secretary. What's that woman's name? Carolyn Levitt, honey. She is 28 and she is not playing in your face. Yes. And of course, the migrant crisis. Yeah. So we have a fun-filled show today. So first thing I want to start off. Thank you, Kevin. When you talk about Fannie, we're going to always talk about Fannie. I have more Fannie content coming. I have more Fulton County corruption coming. And I am going to start doing content on Ohio because Ohio is going to be in the mainstream this year, going into next year because of the governor race. And Vivek, I believe he is going to be running for governor of Ohio. And honey, I need to get that interview. Yes. So I need to get on it now. And it's ICE came to Cleveland. We got to talk about it. Yeah, honey, because it was right in my neck of the woods. So yeah, we have a really good show. So the first thing I do want to talk about though is Uber. I want to talk about the Uber driver who refused to pick up a woman because she was overweight. Now, she is, I need to apply for the White House too. But anyway, she is overweight. Let me share, not this one. Here we go. All right, here we go. What did it look like? Are we going to go here or we go here? Yeah, I do it that way. All right. So I can fit in that car. Obese rapper sues Lyft for millions after driver refuses ride. Right? Let's see.
Blanding tells us she was just trying to get to a Detroit Lions watch party this month when her Lyft rolled up.
As I'm walking, I see him like making faces or whatever. I'm like, oh man.
She already knew.
I can fit in this car.
No, believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe it.
He told her there's not enough room in his car.
The kicker part was when he started to talk about his tires. You know, I feel like that was a slap in the face. That was like my tires, you know, like.
The driver said his tires could not handle her weight.
Every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
Yeah, because they need to order the Uber XL.
No, I don't never have to order Uber XL.
He apologized, canceled the ride, and left her there. The rapper says she's pretty tough. I get the money and flip it and make time food. Dank Demoss, as she's known at the mic, is crushed by the whole situation.
I just want them to know, like, It really hurt my feelings.
It looks like Lyft might be hurting pretty soon, too.
I knew it was illegal and I knew that it was wrong.
Her attorneys, John Marco and Zach Runyon, say weight is a protected characteristic in Michigan by law.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, I don't want to have black people in my car, or I don't want to have Christians in my car or Muslims in my car. It's the same. Under the law, it's the same.
The lawsuit is filed. Since she posted the encounter on social media, other full-figured folks have reached out saying the same thing happened to them.
All right, so she's suing for millions. She's suing Uber. I believe she's suing a driver, but was he wrong? Yes, she is extremely overweight, and he should not have refused her the ride. He should have just see if she could fit in. And if she did, if it would have prevented the car from moving, or if the tires would have inflated like he was saying, then you address the issue. However, she knows how big she is. Why didn't she order an XL, one of those? You could order regular size with Uber, or a SUV, or what they call it, the XLs, like a Jeep. Why didn't you? You are big. You don't fit in a regular car. And if you do, it's a tight squeeze. It is what it is. You're big. You're way overweight. And I'm sorry. Maybe she, a lot of times people get on medication and they just blow up. They can't help it. But miss, you are too young to be big like that. Your health, she needs to get, gastric surgery. She needs something. She needs to do something. Forget the Uber thing. Now, if you suing Uber, she probably going to win something. Maybe not millions that she won, but she's going to win something. Invest that in your health, in your body. That's not a good look. What's her name? Dank. She's a rapper out of Detroit. Dank Demoss. That is not a good look. Yes, people could make fun and jokes or whatever. And she said she got thick skin, but you know how big you are. And I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was like, and I was like, well, she's about to get a bag. And he was like, you know what? He's tired, especially with Donald Trump rolling back a lot of DEI initiatives and that DEI public policies and money. A lot of companies are definitely going to fight back with stuff like this, because sometimes companies will lay over and just pay you just to let it go. But because Trump is rolling back a lot of that DEI stuff, right? Woke policies, is that going to slow people down for filing frivolous lawsuits? But this is a form of discrimination, because you're discriminating against her weight. But at the same time, he does have a good defense, because now we're talking about logic. We're talking about the capacity of this woman and coming in my car, and I'm able to take her from A to B. He should have never denied her. He should have let her get in the car. And whatever damage that was done, he should have sued her for the damages. She would have been liable. But you never refuse anyone unless your life is in danger. And his life was not in danger. And if the car would have broke, then you sue her for the damages. Because Uber, the drivers are responsible for their car. I don't think Uber is the company. However, I'm pretty sure she's suing Uber because they have the millions and billions of dollars. And she's probably going to include, of course, this man in it, but he's not worth millions of dollars. But either way, she needs to lose weight. No more of, oh, you're beautiful the way you are. No, you're not. No, you're not. You look uncomfortable. It's making me feel uncomfortable. And I know it's difficult for her to go to places. If she's on a plane, she can't just purchase one seat. Flying on an airplane, they do have a weight capacity. They do, because of the people, the amount of people on the plane and the luggage. So if you have an extremely overweight person, they have to buy 2 seats because they can't have you barely squeeze into a seat and then another person sitting next to you. That's too much weight. And I'm sorry, can you fit in an airline seat? So you already know throughout your everyday life, if you go into the movies, if you get on an airplane, if you go into a concert or to a restaurant, you need space. And saying that your feelings were hurt or that you were discriminated against, that driver has a case to avoid your lawsuit. Because you are extremely overweight, you need additional space, seats. You need additional accommodations. And just hopping in a regular compact 4-door car, it's not a good accommodation for you. So what are we really talking about here? I think she felt like, how can you deny me? Well, maybe he was just looking at the obvious. But he refused, and she's screaming discrimination because of her weight. She has a point, but then so does he. Joyce Decker, Dana, I'm disabled and weigh 130 pounds, but always tell them I have a wheelchair. Right, you have a wheelchair. So if you are getting in an Uber, you can't get in an Uber with your wheelchair. You have to fold your wheelchair up, put it in the trunk. But you're 130 pounds. It looks like she's 600 pounds. It's all about, can you fit? You could put a wheelchair in the trunk. It's just a matter of accommodating you and assisting you from the wheelchair to the car, folding up your wheelchair, and they put it in the trunk for you. Can this woman fit in a car? And if she fits in a car, is it going to prevent the car from moving properly? So we're talking about accommodations. We're talking about accommodations. So yeah. Thank you, Natasha. Hands doing, oh, okay. It must be emoji. Thank you so much. Guys, please hit the like button. Let me see where she's at. When are you coming on? When are you coming? All right. So, all right. So while I wait for P Ray, I'm on. Are you in a waiting area? Oh, girl, I didn't even see you. I didn't hear no buttons or nothing. Hello? I don't see you, P Ray. Girl, wait a minute.
Okay.
I
Oh, I
can,
didn't know you were gonna bring me on. Now I gotta like sit back down in my seat.
oh,
So I have
well,
to
go
finish.
ahead, because I didn't even know you was backstage. Okay, let me know when you're ready. I'm texting her like, well, where's she at? Because usually I get the notification like when somebody come in. I didn't even see it. So just let me know when you're ready. She's like, I'm backstage, honey. I'm watching you. Ah, what'd you say?
Okay. Okay. I can't hear you though.
Can
I
you
think
hear
I'm gonna
me?
have to leave and come back.
Okay, you still can't hear
Okay,
me.
give me one.
Okay. All right, no problem. All right, just give her a minute. Yeah, so guys, please share the video, like the video. Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Can you hear
Hi,
me? Hey, good evening, everybody.
how are you?
Oh, it's been a day in the Chicagoland area, girl. This is like the most ghetto town. I shouldn't say that. I love being here and I love my people. It's just some craziness going on. So let's talk. What you want to talk about?
All right, so let me pull up the Chicago real quick.
And I got some headphones for you this week.
Yeah, you sound good.
Thank you.
You sound good. Everybody go to follow P Ray at Chicago Red P on X, and then you could go to her website, chicagored.org, and support, sign up to the mailing list, donate.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so honey, your mayor was summoned to Congress. So
Yes, ma'am.
it was a press conference, and he was asked if he will accept the invitation to testify in front of Congress on Chicago's sanctuary city status. The leader of the third largest city in America took the coward's way out, they're saying. So let me play this clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
You've been invited to speak before Congress. Will you go, and what do you expect to tell them?
I'm going to turn that over to my corporate counsel, Mary Richardson-Laurie.
Good morning, Mary Richardson-Laurie, Corp Counsel. We did receive an invitation from the Oversight Committee, and it is under legal review, so we are not able to respond directly to your question in terms of whether he will go. It is a communication, and we'll be making legal determinations as to the substance of that communication.
Mayor, if we could follow up with you just on that, would you be inclined to go if your legal representation tells you that you should? And Mayor, I'd love to hear from you if you would.
Mary Richardson-Laurie Corporation Counsel. I appreciate the question and the interest. It would be premature to talk about going until such time that we properly digested all the legal issues as well as the other substantive aspects of the communication from the Oversight Committee.
So you're not even clear right now whether he could be compelled to go?
It's an invitation that we have received. It is not a document that compelled.
So he had the lawyer come up and speak.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, Brandon, what was he going to say? They are being nice by inviting him, but if they have to subpoena him, they're going to subpoena him. And he has to go and answer for his shenanigans. Again, the Chicago Teachers Union has been going to Venezuela, friends, for the past decade. They're going down there, making friends, shaking hands, saying that they're studying their socialism so that they can bring that up here. And they were inviting these people to come. So now he got to sit before Congress and tell the people why. Because I'm sure those congressmen saw me on Fox News when I mentioned it. You know, like, this is not a game for us. A lot of times people see us in Chicago and they see the videos and the commentaries and the responses, and people, you know, believe that we are like celebrities or something like that, right? And they're like, oh, you're famous, you're on Fox News. No, y'all, this is work. This is work. This is real live work every single day that you got to figure it out and keep telling people over and over again until you get some type of help. So I say all that to say, Brandon going to jail. You'll see, he's going to be the one that says, I'm a activist at heart, and I was an activist before I was a politician, and I don't mind going to jail. And he's going to go to jail. What can we do?
I don't think he's going to go to jail, but I think that he's going to have to answer some questions as far as being a sanctuary city, because there are rules that you have to follow being a sanctuary city, because sanctuary city, again, and you know the definition of it, there is a limit that you could bring in of intake of people, and you have to qualify. So if you cross the border illegally, that doesn't mean you qualify for asylum or being a refuge. He's actually harboring criminals. So
Correct.
he could get in trouble for that. Jail time, I think he won't see it, but he could definitely be questioned for harboring basically. Bless you.
Well, thank you. The thing is that, sorry, I got something. The issue is is that they spent the COVID money on the illegals. COVID money is federal money. You can't spend. Sorry, excuse me, y'all.
You want to go off camera for a sec?
Nope, I'm just gonna catch my breath.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, you cannot spend federal money on illegals. That's the whole thing about it. No FEMA, no HUD, no COVID money, no nothing. And this is what they chose to do. This is what they chose to do, on top of the fact that they reallocated taxpayer funds for these people. And Brandon Johnson got on international TV and said, if you illegal, come to Chicago. We're going to protect you. So he's literally attracting illegal immigration to the United States so that they can get to Chicago. So those are the reasons that I think that he's going to get in a bit of trouble. Aside from the fact that, again, the Chicago Teachers Union has been in this deal with Venezuela. We don't have diplomatic ties with Venezuela. So why is the Municipal Teachers Union going to see them?
Well, as far as teachers, they could call it one of those foreign exchange programs.
It wasn't. It was just no children went, just the adults. And they went down there to talk to other adults. Because again, they're trying to create this socialism framework here in the city of Chicago, and we don't want it. We're capitalists up here. This is the land of the hustler. You know, we don't want capitalism. We don't want people telling us what to do and giving us a couple dollars a month, especially if it's going to negatively impact the rest of us.
Right. Well, the governor had a warning for Trump.
Last November, on the day after the election, I made a promise to the people of Illinois. When it comes to threats to our freedom, health, or security, if you come for my people, you come through me. Last November.
So he's basically telling Trump, my second warning to Trump, third time he have faced the full weight of my force. And this is apparently what he tweeted on X from his account. Well, what's the full weight of his force?
Well, he doesn't have any full weight of his force. And actually, I think his tune is about to change. Yesterday, either last night or this morning, they found a 61-year-old Jewish man bound and gagged and murdered in his basement on the north side of Chicago. Now, we know when you bother a certain set of people in this country, some things move. They found out that it was two illegals who killed him. It was a Honduran and a Venezuelan who did this. This literally just came out in the news maybe 2 or 3 hours ago, but they found them this morning, like I said. So now that this has become very personal, it's definitely gonna be a different tune. JB also made a statement after this press conference, rather. He said that, well, I agree that, we do need to get criminals out of here because the illegals are not his people. The illegals can't vote. The illegals are not paying taxes. So who is he talking about? And this is why, again, JB's going to take a step back. Everybody's going to take a step back, and they're going to leave Brandon standing at the line, and Brandon's going to be the fall guy. But they're going to make an example out of somebody because there are too many mayors and governors across the country who are saying that they're going to impede this plan. So they have to come down with the full force of the government so that this does not happen and people don't get out of order. I can't hear you, Dana.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I was muted. Mayor Eric Adams, he already folded. He is pro-Trump. He went down to Mar-a-Lago. I believe he went to inauguration. He is cooperating with ICE. Yes, come get him. Any documents we have with the criminal names, we're handed over because his ass ain't trying to be up in no federal prison. And by the way, Bob Menendez was sentenced today to 11 years in prison.
11 years.
Yeah. So Mayor Eric Adams, he ain't messing around. But Chicago, they're defiant. And I'm sorry, I think you're right. There is going to be a fall guy. And the fall guy is going to be Brandon because the governor's going to save his ass. And it is what it is. So anything new today? Wasn't it a press conference today or yesterday with the mayor?
It was, excuse me, y'all. I don't know what's happening to P. Ray. Who I rebuke this spirit that's trying to close my throat in the mighty name of Jesus. However, um, yes. So Mayor Emanuel is back. Rom is back in the house. Rom is back to shut down the Negroes. He's come back to kick my ass, y'all. Okay. I did not kill myself. I don't do hard drugs. Some people might be trying to get me or whatever, but know that Rom is back. When Rom comes back, he comes with this big old wallet to hand out his Negro shut up checks. So Rom is back. And so at this press conference, it was JB, Rom, and Brandon. And I'm thinking, why is Rom here? Like, Rom wasn't even the most previous mayor. That would be Lori. So where's Lori in this situation? But I digress. So they got Rom and JB here. And then so JB's off to the side. No, Rom is by himself. JB and Brandon are standing together. Rom is about to try to bring the full force of the Democratic Party here to save them, but there's absolutely nothing that they can do. They are, someone said, P. Ray, get you some water. I got some water. I told
her that she want to just go off camera real quick.
No, I'm going to keep going. Okay, and I am back. Okay, so you got all these people here, and Rom is here to shore up the Democrats, okay? Because the Democrats are looking bad. Right now, the Chicago Negro is completely out of control. We are in a full state of rebellion, y'all. And so now Rom is back to see if he can get us back in the hole. Remember, Rom was a Democrat operative for a number of years. He's the one who ruined the Chicago Housing Authority. He's the one who demolished my neighborhood. And so now he's back to try to, get us back in order. But it will never be the same. The blue wall will never exist again in the city of Chicago. And it's over with. Now we're a purple town. We're a purple state. And we're done with these tricks that the Democratic Party keeps doing to us for no reason. We're not even bothering these people. They just keep on hurting us over and over again. However, I want to talk about Dalton. Did you see Dalton?
No. Wait, I'm getting to Dalton, honey.
Oh, okay. Because Tiffany, my homegirl, I talked to her today.
No, I'll put you on. That's why I said, what time you want to come on? Those are two things. We about to get her in a minute. But one more thing with the mayor of Chicago. One more thing. So I saw this. It says breaking. Chicago's Inspector General just released a report stating that Mayor Johnson's office accepted gifts, including jewelry, handbags, and alcohol on behalf of the city without publicly reporting them. The mayor, what is this? The mayor's office also refused to make the mayor's gift room available for inspection.
Jail. He's going to jail. Do you hear me? They're going to find anything they can to stick him to the wall. You don't play with the president of the United States of America, the United States of America, right? You think that you're going to get on TV and tell him what you're going to do and what you're not going to do, and you're going to step over him. They're going to comb through Brandon's life with a rat tail comb, fine tooth comb, and they're going to find everything that he's ever done wrong, and he's going to jail. That's it. Like, it's going to get worse and worse and worse from here, because the OIG, the Office of the Inspector General, has already been telling us that this administration is corrupt, but the Illinois Attorney General is not doing anything, and the Cook County State's Attorney is not doing anything. So once again, the federal government has to get involved and give Chicago relief. This is why I love the feds. People like, P. Ray, why are you always focused on federal? I'm like, because these are the only people that help us. Everybody else is down here playing and stealing. Not everybody, excuse me, because I love my congressman, but he is federal as well. It's just a lot of lying. And again, because I grew up doing this, I literally grew up doing this. Every day of my life was this. I understand exactly what I'm looking at. So Trump is about to lock up everybody. I've been on Fox too many times begging for help for nothing to happen. So I think it's coming.
All right. So let's get into the ghetto mayor, Tiffany Henyard. And
don't talk about Tiffany Henyard. I don't get engaged in Tiffany Henyard slander. She's not ghetto. Well, go ahead, and I'm gonna tell you all about it.
Well, let me pull this up first. Oh, I thought I put this here. Oh my God.
Well, while you're pulling it up, let me give you a little backstory on Tiffany and why I always put my finger on the scale for Tiffany. One, Tiffany tried to hire me to do PR for the Village of Dalton. So I've done business with Tiffany. I know her. I knew her before she was actually mayor. She was a trustee for 11 years in the city or the town of Dalton. So if she was so bad and so corrupt, why did they make her a trustee for 11 years? However, Mayor Riley, who was the mayor before Mayor Tiffany, fired a number of Dalton Village clerks. And those clerks believed that if they got Tiffany back in office, then Tiffany would be able to reinstate their jobs and they would be able to live the lives that they were living. Well, Tiffany gets in office, she checks the books. The city of Dalton cannot support hiring these clerks back. And so then these clerks literally conspired to ruin her. Literally, I'm in a text message thread. I fell out with all these women. I'm like, how can we go to her inauguration, give her awards, clap for her, hug her baby, do all this stuff, and now everybody is mad that they didn't get their jobs back, to the point that you want to ruin her, and then y'all sabotage my contract. So this is why, again, this is my business. I'm not talking about anything that I saw on a YouTube video. I'm not talking about paid provocateurs like Jedediah. This is P. Ray life, real life in Dalton, Illinois, which is 52 minutes from my house. So I drove 52 minutes away from where I live to get in some mess in Dalton, Illinois, which is why I'm done. But I understand. Yes, Miss Dana.
Sounds good. And I get it because you have a personal experience with her. And listen, I'm not saying, and you're right, if she was a trustee for 11 years, all of a sudden you have a problem with her. She knew when she was trustee about who was corrupt, who was probably taking what. She sees it. I get all that. But the moment she started to be mayor, she started doing too much. And I'm sorry, when you are a public official, you do have to have some type of advocacy about yourself. And she was just doing too much. And it came off very unprofessional. And you can't explain that type of behavior. You can't. All that with the memes and the little skits,
But that's her. She been that way. She was that way as trustee, Tiffany.
Wait. Let me talk. It does not matter. When you are in public office, you are representing the people. You are representing our office, that city. I'm sorry. You have to carry yourself with some maturity, with some class, with some type of integrity. All that antics, no. Everything is not a cookout party. So,
but that's why they elected her, Dana. That's what I'm saying. Like, she didn't become mayor and then get rambunctious. No, she's been rambunctious. This is her. And they loved it until they didn't get their jobs back.
There's nothing wrong with being rambunctious, but with the skits, like Nino Brown, no. She was just doing too much. And the people. So now you have social media coming at you, and then you're going to have the same people in your city. When the people get upset, then you got a problem. Forget everybody else on the trustees, but the people who voted you or who supported you, when they have a problem, you have a problem. So I'm not playing a fight. I'm just going to play up until before it started. But
play Jedediah's horrible speech.
Woman. Daughter moved away to Texas, and when her daughter moved away to Texas, she went to help her daughter. But I done heard about 4 or 5 people tell me how they had to take care of yours. And so now you've been a half-ass mayor. But if you wanted to get up here and earn some respect, then you should have been able to respond to Lori Lightfoot's report about credit cards. You want to talk about them not coming to work, but we've been hearing about what you've been doing while you've been at work. And I'm going to give away the rest of my time because I think on behalf of the Black Cookout Association that we would rather take a vote that we're going to exchange your black ass for Stephanie to be the new member of Congress. So all those in favor say, all those against it say nay, all those in favor say aye. You gone, bitch.
And then that's when the fight broke out, and I'm not playing that. So why did she get up and start fighting?
That's the part that we didn't talk about that today. We didn't talk about that today because I didn't want to. I'm off center. I didn't want to, make it too heavy because today was a lot for her. However, Jedediah Brown does not live in the city of Chicago. He doesn't reside in the county of Cook. He does not live in the state of Illinois. He is literally a paid provocateur. Literally. He lives down in Texas.
That was the guy.
Literally a paid provocateur. And he acted such a fool that they literally ran him out of town. Literally made him leave the city of Chicago because he was like outing preachers. He had into this incident where he was going to kill himself because it came out that he was being inappropriate with a family member. I mean, it was just a lot, okay? And so because we understand that Jedediah is a paid provocateur and he just keeps up mess, I'm like, yo, Jed, why are you keeping up this mess? I think that you're my Facebook friend. And so I posted on Facebook, Jedediah called Tiffany a B word and got stumped out at the mic. Out South, y'all showed out tonight. So then he come on my post, he get to calling me all type of bitches and all type of stuff. And I'm like, boy, get your sassy butt on. You want to come and fight me, a woman, why don't you go fight the men that were just stomping on your face? And the thing about it is, at the end of the day, this is Chicago. So whatever Tiffany is doing politically, you can handle that. But when you start talking about that he said that, I don't want to curse on your YouTube, but he said that she asked her way to the top. She was a bad mother. And he called her a bitch. Like, how much, even when we go down there and talk about Brandon, ain't nobody coming at Brandon on that level because there is a level of decorum that you have to have when you are at these public meetings. This meeting was being ran by Robert's Rules of Order. This is a real live political municipal meeting. So number one, he could have been arrested for verbal assault against a public figure. That is, something an arrestable offense. Yeah, those.
Wait, stop. Because he didn't charge at her. She charged at him.
Well, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that because the people that were there. So if you actually play the flight, Jedediah, and he cut them, by the way. And let's start there. Wait, hold on, but let me get to it because she shouldn't have got out her seat.
But yeah, she should have stayed in her seat.
She should have got in the and she should have stayed in her seat. That's one thing that I will say. She should have never got up because the men were handling that. One thing that I tell these men when I'm out here is that I don't fight men. I have men go talk to other men on my behalf. So I'm never gonna fight a man. I'm never gonna get in the man's face. I'm never gonna do any of that because there are enough men out here who can do that for me. Tiffany's men were handling that issue. However, when Jedediah walked away from the podium, one of his comrades went to the podium. That comrade then stepped away from the podium and pushed Tiffany's boyfriend, who had on the black shirt with the writing on it. From there, Jedediah came up and you could see him actually pull a metal object out of his pocket, which Tiffany informed me was a knife. Okay, a real life knife, and he was over there cutting people. Her boyfriend's face is cut, his neck is cut, people have their hands cut, and she still can't press charges? You understand? Even if we were to say Tiffany was out of order, she should be a charge with battery. The fact that Jedediah has not been charged with anything speaks again to the disrespect that this lady has to endure just for being an elected official. That's my problem. I don't care that she taking Dalton money. That's some Dalton business. But on some just face value. That is disrespectful because guess what? All day, people been calling black women bitches on Twitter because of Jedediah's words. Well, she is a bitch, and you all are bitches too if you don't agree with it.
Too much of the B word.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. Sorry, I won't cuss no more. But I'm saying like it's out of order.
Here's the thing. She was out of order because the news outlets, the blogs, the social media, X, everything is her face saying she got into a fight, got into a brawl at the meeting, her wig fell off because she got out her seat, jumping in a fight where it was nothing but a bunch of men. She was out of order. She's just as bad as him. And I'm sorry. And that's what I mean, that she's doing too much.
And that's what I'm saying. I get that.
Let me finish. That's your girl. You're very biased, but I'm an outsider looking in. She looks unprofessional. She looks ghetto, and she looks like, no, you are not appropriate for that position. You are proving these same people right. You probably know more, and you're probably better at the job than them, but you are proving these people that want you up out of there. You're proving them right by your behavior. She should have sat her ass in a seat. You are a public official. You are a mayor. You don't jump into a fight, and you are a woman, and these are all men. These are not kids. You know what I'm saying? So again, she was wrong for doing that, because now her face is splattered everywhere. You got Lori Lightfoot doing interviews about the report that she found and all this other stuff. You have now the public don't like you. And once you lose the public, you're done. You're
And
done.
this is, and I promise you, when I tell you I get that, I get it. She never should have gotten out of her seat. Like P. Ray, you won't see P. Ray jumping in the men's fight. Okay. However, and that was very unprofessional. However, that is what they do. That is what they do in the South suburbs, Dana.
Stop. Because if that was Mayor Brandon Johnson, amen, he wouldn't have jumped in a fight, because that's what you have security there for. When you are in a certain positions, you let other people handle stuff like that.
I hear you. What I'm saying is that's Dalton, Illinois. That's those South suburbs. I encourage you to look up the Shaw brothers. Okay, they used to be pulling guns on each other out there. That is like down south, out south madness out there in the Thorn Ridge, South suburbs. Okay, like we understand that as a people. That's why Brandon cannot do that, because he's Chicago. Tiffany is Dalton, and that's how they get down out there. And I'm not saying it's okay. I'm never saying it's okay. What I'm saying is Jedediah, the man himself, when he came there to pick a fight with that woman, the fact that he is being paid by the establishment, because before the South suburbs were ran by Italians, Tiffany is the first Black person to be a township supervisor. All of these things are coming together to create the perfect public lynching. However, I'm not saying that Tiffany is clean. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is this: anything that Tiffany is doing is no different than any other mayor is doing out here in these small municipalities. We know that as a fact. Number two, and it doesn't make it right. That's why we drain in the swamp. That's why we saying go Chicago red. But these are regular Democratic Party behaviors. The fact of the matter is, she was picked and trained by Tony Pretwinkle, who is the president of the Cook County Board. Guess who else was picked and trained by Tony? Brandon Johnson. So both of them are results of the Democratic Party here in Cook County. Okay, that's the first thing. So if we're going to look at it, yes, Tiffany out of order, but more holistically, this is the Democratic Party up here in Cook County. I'm not defending Tiffany. I never said Tiffany was right. I never said she should have got out her seat. All I'm giving you is a different perspective, because all y'all are seeing is what's put on this social media that's driving up people's content money. This is real life. And I'm not saying it's for you, because a lot of people have made their whole shebang about Dalton, but they don't know. They weren't on those text messages. You see what I'm saying?
Stop. Let me interject this, because okay, that dude Shaddai, whatever his name is,
Jedediah,
whatever, he doesn't live there. But the people that were sitting in that room does, and majority of them was saying yay to get her up out of there. So her own people, her constituents, want her out of that position.
So if they wanted her out of that position, they would recall her. Dalton has a recall mechanism. Again, we think the people would have to initiate that. And what I'm saying is what you guys are seeing. I'm sorry.
Office, what public official office? They have to
the trustees would have to do it. The people could get a petition together, just like we are doing for Brandon Johnson. If they wanted her gone, they would be gone. Dalton is a small, itty-bitty town. There's more people in the Austin community than there is in Dalton, Illinois. So yes, they can make it happen if they want it to happen. What you guys are seeing is what they are putting out as the theater. Now, again, I never said that she was right. I never said she was right, Dana, but she deserves more respect than that. Come on now.
You know why I push back with you? Because I could, yes, I agree she's being ganged up on, but you know what? She loves to be the main character in that theater play. And now she wants the spotlight on her. And that's the problem, because now you feel as though they're trifling. So I'm going to act trifling. I'm going to act like a bitch. I'm going to give it back to them. And that's where she's messing up.
And I agree. And when I tell you, I agree. And I'm not, I'm not, because I'm not going to, again, I'm not focused on Tiffany. I am focused on the fact that a grown man, a almost 40-year-old man, is being paid by a group of people to come to a small municipality and destroy a woman. The regard, like I said, if she stole the money, put her in jail. If she a bad mayor, vote her out. But to go to her job, talk under her clothes, talk about how she's parenting, and then call her the B word and try to pimp on off, to sass on off. No, 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 no. It don't go like that. Because I think maybe not. We haven't spoken since the inauguration. But when we were coming back from DC, I had on a Chicago red sweatshirt and I had on a Chicago MAGA hat. So we're walking to the terminal. We run into other Chicago people. We're hugging them, talking to them, giving them cards and stuff. And this guy getting off the plane decided that he was going to cuss me out and call me a bucket of B words and stupid and coon and all this stuff. So I'm like, yo, calm down. Then he got in the white woman's face. So when he got in the white woman's face, all the white men came down on him and made him get out of her face. So then he ran in the bathroom, he came out, and then he hopped in the lady who was in my group's face. So I started screaming, help, help, police, help. And then everybody ran over and Jay down on this man. Why? Because he was calling these women B words. We don't accept that as a people. Like I said, they could have said whatever. I'm stuck on the fact that he called her a B word at her job. You wouldn't go to Food for Less and do that to the cashier.
The conversation is not about him. It's not.
That's what I'm making it about. I'm making it about him and the disrespect that they're giving this woman.
Right now, at this moment on this show, we're talking about her because it's not about him. All the news outlets are talking about her because of the fact is that if she would have stayed in her seat and let the security handle it, then it would be somewhat about him. He's unknown. What he did, he could have been a planted agent to start chaos, and she fell for it. And I'm sorry, that's not a good look. You want to fight in a man's fight because he called you out your name and he start fighting your man. You are not. She is not made to be a elected official, and it's not.
I give you that. I give you that. Like I said,
let me. It's not because she does not have good intentions. It's not that. It is because she doesn't know how to behave properly. And that is probably 60 to 70% of being an elected official is how you behave. Sad to say it. And then the rest is your performance. But she does not know how to behave like a proper elected official. But
what I'm telling you, Dana, is up here, there is no such thing as a proper elected official. Do you know that Dorothy Tillman, who used to be the alderman of the 3rd Ward, when she was in City Hall, they had got so out of order that she pulled her pistol out her pocket and bust the cap in the air. Like, it goes down up here in Chicago. We are more than people who eat Italian beef sandwiches and scream at the mayor. Like, this is a crazy place. This is why they talk about the machine. That's why we're trying to drain the swamp. But at the end of the day, Tiffany was bogus for getting out of her seat. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. She should never have gotten in that fight, gotten in the man's fight. We don't do that as women. She is dead wrong. But what I am talking about is a culture of disrespecting Black female politicians right here in the city of Chicago. My alderman, Emma Mitz, 71 years old, when they were going in there to vote on whether or not we should remain a sanctuary city, a Mexican alderman literally grabbed her and manhandled her and tried to block her from going into the chamber. She said she felt like she was back in Arkansas by the way this man was treating her. You see what I'm saying? Like, there is a culture of disrespect towards Black women that we can't let slide. Like I said, Tiffany is out of order. This don't got nothing to do with Dalton. I don't care about Dalton. I'm talking about the culture of disrespecting our people. That's not okay. That's never okay. That's never okay. That's never okay. Tiffany is wrong, but Jedediah was too. Carlos Rosa was too. We can't do that to our women. We can't accept that for our women. Because then they'll start hitting her, and he was cutting them. Jedediah had a knife, which means that he came to fight and cut.
I gotta move on, P. I gotta move on.
Go ahead. Like I said, we could, yes.
Let other men handle it. That's all I'm saying. But tell people where they can reach out to you and support your organization.
Yes. Chicago Red P at Twitter. You can meet me at chicagored.org. Yeah, that's what we doing up here. But come next week, we doing this press conference. Like I said, um, we're doing the press conference. It's not about Dalton. I'll leave you guys with this. It's not about Dalton. It's not about Tiffany. It's about respecting Black female power. If you let them play with you an inch like that at work, they will come slap you in your face. So we gotta stop it now, so that it doesn't. If it wasn't Tiffany, it could be Stephanie, it
all
could be
right, so let me
Brittany, Ella,
all right,
whoever. We're
I need
not going for
you to
that.
just get off Tiffany. I want to have the last one on Tiffany. Just get off
Yes,
Tiffany
ma'am.
because I will say this. I hear you where women, period, should not be disrespected, but at the same time, a woman should not be fighting a man. Now,
Correct.
if he would have physically tried to swing on her, okay, defend yourself, but you let men fight other men. You don't got no business jumping in a man's fight. So I'm going to end it with that.
That's why I
And
hang with the vice lords. I understand. So yes, ma'am, we can end it with that.
all right.
Protect Black women.
Thank you, P. Ray. See you next week.
See you.
All right. Love P. Ray. I mean, she's right. I mean, people should not be disrespected, but Tiffany, she got to learn how to act. She's not, I don't know. The behavior. She should have sat her ass in that seat. Let the men deal with it, and it's security. That's what they're there for. All right. So before my next guest come up, he should be coming up in a minute. I want to go to Cleveland for a minute. I want to go to Cleveland because usually when PRA come out, we talk about the migrant crises. And we did today. And then we also went into Tiffany because I really wanted her to talk about Tiffany as well. But I want to go back to the migrant crisis, right? I live in Ohio, in the Cleveland area, not Cleveland itself, in the surrounding suburbs. However, the state of Ohio is not a sanctuary state. Cleveland is not a sanctuary city. Yes, it is blue, but it is not a sanctuary city because the state ain't having it. However, as quiet as it's kept, they are quiet on the illegals that's here. Now, we don't have illegals like New York, Chicago, or any other small town or the size of Cleveland. It's not a lot, but they are here. And ICE was here apparently this week because this came out. Let me go here.
As an immigrant, I was outraged about what happened. ICE don't have no place in our city. Hate don't have no place in our city.
At first I was shocked. You know, I ain't really hear about ICE raids around here. More Texas, more California, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, they're stepping it up, so.
I was both on the positive side and negative side of the situation. I mean, it's life, so something's gotta happen, I guess. But it was also messed up because I feel like people do deserve a chance to have freedom.
Shutting down businesses, especially ones that are a staple like this, don't do anything good for anybody. They hurt the economy. They hurt access to food.
Coming here and getting a job, which they was doing, then I understand why the government also did it if they was doing it illegally, you know, so.
It's sad that, you know, hopefully everybody could be allowed here that is here, even if you got here illegally or whatever happened to you, you know what I'm saying? You're here, you know, you might as well just work it out. But you know how stuff goes, so.
From a logistical standpoint, I don't understand the reasoning, and it feels very over the top and gross.
Overall, I feel like you should let them stay, if they want to stay.
My husband is Mauritanian. He sought asylum in the US around 20 years ago. He escaped a genocide, so he was lucky to be granted asylum in America. And our children were born in America. We feel it's a safe country. We feel like any human being should be safe living in America.
It's a breath of fresh air to see that even in the face of such ridiculous hate like this, that there are still people that care a lot and will take action to show that they care.
I do get that people love, you know, I would want somebody to be on my side if they came and got me, you know, And if I was doing something right or wrong, I will still want some love from people.
Anyone should have a fair trial. Anyone is entitled to see a judge or have their cases processed, have a due process.
All right. So basically, federal immigration enforcement is ramping up across the country, and we're seeing the impact right here in Northeast Ohio. Many in the community are furious following an immigration and customs enforcement raid at a Mexican restaurant in Cleveland Heights over the weekend. You will find messages of support written in Spanish and English outside the Cilantro Taqueria in Cleveland Heights. I have eaten there, honey, and they do have some good food, especially the steak fries is good. And all of them in the back are, I guess, Mexican or wherever. They're South American, right? But I just assumed they were citizens or had some type of paperwork. But maybe these were some of the people that just crossed the border or never got their paperwork. So apparently, ICE came in and raided. So it says 19 reporter Kelly Kennedy spoke with the owner briefly off camera. He didn't want to say much, but did confirm that ICE agents showed up at his restaurant Sunday looking for a former employee with a criminal record. When that person wasn't there, ICE agents arrested 6 other employees. Now the community is rallying around them. So ICE, again, they necessarily do not have to have a warrant if they're asking you for your ID. Now, did they come in and ask these people for IDs and identifications and they didn't have any? Were these 6 employees, were they illegals and they did not have any paperwork, whether they were residents, green card, or asylum seekers that have been approved? I don't know. So yeah, they round them up and they took them. And like I said, Cleveland area, they're very blue and it is gentrified and people are, it is a community. It is a strong nestled community. People mind a business. People are friendly. So I understand the outrage and it is very quiet. It's very quiet. You don't see an increase in crime because the illegals too much around here, but it's not like it's a whole lot. Now, we are not a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state, but the mayor of Cleveland, he's very young. He condemns ICE raids and vows not to enforce general federal immigration law. Yes, he is a Democrat.
Shutting down businesses, especially one.
I want to find this clip. So this is the mayor of Cleveland speaking about the illegal immigrants.
As mayor, I will use my full authority to recognize the humanity of all people in Cleveland. I fully condemn the concentrated effort to threaten and terrify our most vulnerable populations. Arresting immigrants working in a suburban restaurant does not make us safer. Targeting schools, hospitals, and places of worship is obscene. Immigrants are human beings. They have elevated our home by contributing their talents and culture in our great city. They support our economy. They attend our churches. They are our neighbors. Immigrants have been essential to our city's story for generations. And my administration will not engage in the deportation of individuals who have not committed violent crimes. Now, let me be clear. No law requires that we do so. Cleveland police are tasked with protecting public safety, and while we will take action against anybody who commit violent crimes, we are not enforcing general federal immigration law. They are not here to play politics or be used as a tool for fear. The federal government should prioritize their law enforcement resources where they are most needed, combating violent crime and promoting safety across all communities. And we stand ready to support federal efforts to combat human trafficking, drug trafficking, gun trafficking, and any number of offenses that may involve international actors. Our strength comes from our people, and we encourage all Clevelanders to learn more about their rights and access the support they need. Cleveland is strongest when we act together. As a united community, we will ensure that Cleveland remains on the right side of history. Cases of worship.
So here's the thing with that. I hear you, but that's their job, to round up illegals. Now, he said that he will protect non-violent illegal migrants. So I guess you're saying if they have a criminal record, you don't mind them being picked up and deported by ICE. The criminals should go first. However, crossing the border, you broke the law, that makes you a criminal. But he's saying if you committed a crime over here, being an illegal, you should be deported. But what about everybody else? Now, I have not done any content on Ohio, but it's coming. I'm technically still an outsider because I'm fairly new here. But the question that I have, and I'm going to do some research, all these resources that these illegal immigrants had access to under the Biden administration, did the Black poor people of Cleveland, did they ever get those same resources allocated to them? See, I'm going to uncover the public policies that was created in the city of Cleveland, right, for the illegals and immigrants versus the Black Americans and the poor white people. Because I do know in the city of Cleveland, the council, City Hall, one of these council members, Black woman. I think she's a state senator. I don't know, a state representative, but she represents Cleveland. They created a public policies called the New Africa. Well, where is the public policies for the new Black Americans? So again, it sounds good. Your intentions are good, but they're still criminals because they broke the law. And also, they committed crimes when they were there. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You cannot negotiate with foreign nationals who came here illegally. There's no negotiation when it comes to ICE, who is the federal government. So, yeah, Ohio, get ready to be under that microscope, you know, because again, Ohio is quiet. They keep everything nestled inside of this state. When it comes to even their farming, when it comes to producing food, a lot of things are made in the state of Ohio that people can consume, which is great. But at the same time, it's a lot of injustices that go on here that is not talked about. And I think it's time that it does get talked about. We talked about Springfield, Ohio, with the illegal Haitians eating the cats, allegedly, you know. But I'm about to put that flashlight on Cleveland because I need to know the things that happened to Black Americans in Cleveland. The resources and remedies, or were there any, compared to the resources and remedies that was that the illegal migrants had access to, and immigrants who have paperwork have access to, that Black Americans never got. That is the problem. That is the issue. And on top of that, if you came here illegally under the Biden administration, you gotta go. And unfortunately, there are going to be a lot of people that get caught up in these raids because they probably was illegal, but they probably came under the Biden administration. So it is what it is. Sorry. And with that, thank you, Golden Heart. Let's go to another corrupt place. Why do they choose these illegals over? Yes, Cindy. Because listen, I always talk about Black America because I'm Black, right? And I grew up in a Black city, East Orange, New Jersey, and North, all Democrat. So the reason why I say Black Americans a lot, because I've seen firsthand what Democrats have not done for their constituents who are Black. And I have seen the backstabbing, the sellout, what they have done towards their constituents who are Black Americans. And it's crazy. Oh, and I'm also going to talk about East Palestine because apparently these people have not seen not one red cent or received any help. So I'm going to have to put that flashlight back on Ohio, East Palestine, Cleveland, and any other place in this state. What is going on? Hi, Rambo.
Hello, Miss Dana. How
Good.
are
Testing,
you?
testing, testing. Can you hear me?
Mic check.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
All right. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is, all right, let me share this. See if I could share this up here.
Can you hear and see me well?
Yes.
Good.
Just give me a second. I need to send this to myself. I thought I could pull it up there. I just want to make sure the audio is good. I don't know, because I'm thinking maybe we should have just pre-record like we always do. I figured this would kind of be easier, but all right. So are you able to mute? I don't think I could. Oh, no, I could mute you. Never mind. Oh, if you could, yeah, you do it. His voice is delayed. It looks crazy. Is it? I hope. Wait, let me see something. Say something, Rambo.
Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Let me know if it's still delayed.
Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Let me look on here real quick.
Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you are delayed a little bit. His voice is delayed. Somebody said it looks crazy. It's a little bit delayed. I don't know what happened. I think that it is delayed. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pre-record. Yeah. Excuse me. I got this fan on. I'm just going to pre-record. And I think that's better when I'm talking about Fulton County, to pre-record and then just do an upload. It's just easier. Sometimes I like to bring people like P-Ray. We get right to it, but she's used to being interviewed and being on camera, so it's different. To whereas I'm always pre-recording with LA Pink and Mr. Charles Rambo or whatever. So I'm just going to do that. Actually, let me call him and let him know that we're just pre-recorded. Because there's some other things I need to get to. Let's see if he's able to pick up. No. All right. I'm just going to move on. And I'm going to let him know we're just going to pre-record. Actually, let me text him. Let's just pre-record. Yeah. Because, yeah, I looked at it and it was a delay. Oh, and shout out to everybody that's watching on X. Hi, guys. All right. So I'll say that for later. What is next on the menu? Oh, all right. Real quick, though, let's go to the White House press secretary, honey. Carolyn Levitz, right? Who is she? Let me see something here. She is young and she is not playing with none of y'all. I'm just going to briefly bring up some of the highlights from her first press conference, and in which was yesterday. And I want to do a quick compare and contrast of her and Karine Jean-Pierre.
Why impose this pause with so little notice? Why not give organizations more time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding, at least for a period of time?
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze on foreign aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working, and their tax dollars actually matter to this administration. You know, just during this pause, DOGE and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. DOGE and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on, being good stewards of tax dollars.
Okay. And here's another clip of her.
Carolina on immigration. Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws, and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
You may have to point at the worst first. They all have a criminal record?
And welcome to the briefing. If they broke our nation's laws, yes, they are criminal. Yeah.
And you know what? I like her. She's young. She's 28. And if you notice, a lot of the Biden administration, Trump administration, they have women and they're young and they're competent. Now, Karine Jean-Pierre, she was very competent, yes. But I am going to do a compare and contrast, and it has nothing to do with race. Just give me 1 second. Rambo, we're going to we're pre-record. We're going to pre-record.
Okay.
Okay. So I just sent you a text. So I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. I didn't want him just to be sitting backstage. All right. So I like her. But see, the difference between Trump administration and the Biden administration when it comes to the press secretary is transparency. It's transparency, and she's not afraid, honey. She stood up there and she answered every question in detail. A lot of those questions were redundant, but she answered them. I have another clip.
Miller.
Thanks, Caroline. A question that we've asked your predecessors of both parties in this job. When you're up here in this briefing room speaking to the American public, do you view yourself and your role as advocating on behalf of the president or providing the unvarnished truth that is, not to lie, not to obfuscate to the American people?
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people, and that's exactly what this administration is doing. It's correcting the lies and the wrongs of the past 4 years, many of the lies that have been told to your faces in this very briefing room. I will not do that. But since you brought up Truth Seek, I would like to point out, while I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
And Caroline,
There you have it. And of course, I have one more clip. And this is April Ryan. She is a seasoned reporter, and she's always at the White House correspondent. She has her past, and a lot of her questions does represent Black America, and I like that. I appreciate that. So this is April Ryan asking Carolyn Leavitt about Black issues, basically.
So lastly, as we're dealing with anti-DEI, anti-woke efforts, we understand this administration is thinking about celebrating Black History Month. Have you got any word on that? Anything that you can offer to us?
As far as I know, this White House certainly still intends to celebrate, and we will continue to celebrate American history and the contributions that all Americans, regardless of race, religion, or creed, have made to our great country, and America is back.
Honey, she said America is back. Yes. She's 28. She has a baby, and she's in a hot seat. I'm not going to compare her to Corinne Jean Pierre. Not compare in a sense of who's better, because Corinne, she was good. I enjoy Corinne. But the difference is, Corinne Jean-Pierre, her delivery, her tone was different, and that's fine. She's professional. She knew her job. She knew how to communicate her job well. The difference is the administration. See, the White House press secretary is the voice for the Oval Office. They are the voice for the Oval Office. So the Biden administration lacked transparency, to whereas we see from the Trump administration with the press secretary is the total opposite. It's just full transparency, whether you agree or not. There's going to be a lot of things you disagree about Trump, and there's some things that I do disagree, but it is transparent, to whereas Biden, it was very superficial, right? Also, they were woke. They focused too much on LGBTQ and immigrants, and zero transparency. If you notice with Carolyn, she had the cross necklace, and I think that was strategically placed there. But with the Biden administration, you didn't get a clear answer, and it's not the press secretary's fault. They are speaking what the Oval Office tell them to speak, tell them what to say. So she's only conveying the Oval Office message.
So today is National Coming Out Day, and so I wanted to start by sharing my own coming out story. Like so many in the LGBTQ community, coming out wasn't an easy thing to do. My family was traditional and conservative.
I don't feel like playing this whole thing because I really don't care. But I can tell you this, the Trump administration will not be celebrating Coming Out Day. That's not going to be a thing. That was never a thing with any administration except for the Biden administration. The Biden administration focused more on somebody's sexuality and what they wanted to be called, or somebody's gender, right? The multiple genders. And they focused on immigrants, and they did not focus on America or Americans. And that was the lack of transparency. So whether you agree with Trump or not, like his policies or not, I like transparency. So that way I know what you're doing. I know where you're headed. And if I don't like it, I'm going to state my opinion. Now, the problem that we have with the left, and I'm going to start saying the black left, I'm tired of this one here. Jasmine Crockett. I'm tired of her. So Joseph, real quick. Corinne Jean Pierre was not a DEI hire. She knew her job. She didn't get hired because she was black. You know, she was a loyalist to Kamala Harris first and then Biden. So they want people who are loyal, whether it's Trump administration or Biden administration. She was a loyalist, but she knew her job. Before that, it was Peppermint Patty. Are you saying Peppermint Patty was a DEI hire? And that's Jen Psaki, for those who don't know. Jen Psaki, aka Peppermint Patty. So remember, it was Jen Psaki who was press secretary. And then Jen left because she was getting millions of dollars being a correspondent on MSNBC, and one of them things got her own show. And Corinne stepped in. That's not a DEI hire. She was a loyalist to Kamala and the administration, and they put her in that position, and she knew how to do her job. And she did her job, and she did it well. It's just that she was the voice of a horrible administration. But getting back to this one here, do we even have time for her? Or should I do a separate a pre-record on her? Because I need to get the roly-poly. And then I need to get to the confirmations. I'm going to go to Roland Martin. And if I have time, I'll swing back to her. So Roland Martin is coming unhinged when it comes to Donald Trump and his policies. See, Donald Trump scrapped all that DEI stuff. Patricia Brown said, I got time tonight. Okay, who was that black woman? That was Jasmine Crockett. She's a congresswoman in the House, and she was about to fight. Well, Nancy Mace was about to whoop her ass outside of the Capitol building, and then she also got into it with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Her. And I need to take my time with Jasmine Crockett. That's why I'm like, do I have time? Because I got to get the rolling, and I need to get to JFK confirmation. What you mean freeze mode? I know my ass ain't frozen. Is it frozen? I'm not frozen, am I? Okay. So yeah. So Roly Poly is coming unhinged. He is. So he does a show and he's like, MAGA is defunding Black America. And in this segment, which I'm not playing the whole thing, for the first 10, 15 minutes, he takes you on this history of Black America, going all the way back to Reconstruction. And then he goes through the Civil Rights Movement. And then he comes to today, to George Floyd. And that has nothing to do with what was done under the Biden administration. Nothing. And you mean to tell me, if you're trying to say since Reconstruction, all the way up to 2020 with George Floyd, right? You mean to tell me if Black people are still in the same predicament, then we have a major problem. I refuse to accept that.
There's no coincidence. The attacks on critical race theory comes after George Floyd's death. Oh, some of you may say, well, I still don't understand. I think what's the deal here? Because the attacks on CRT and the attacks on wokeness were all designed to drive a wedge through conscious white people and the folk who wanted to keep the system the same.
No. The problem is CRT and all that woke BS, that was driving the wedge. That was a distraction. That was made up race baiting politics to keep Black people mind focused on racism and playing a victim instead of actually getting resources and public policies to create jobs, to create business, to better educate the children, just to move forward. All that woke stuff, all that CRT BS, and now we have DEI nonsense, that was to continue to keep Black people in a victim mindset. It did not help Black Americans. Trump policies are not defunding Black Americans. None of his policies never did. But you have 4 years of Biden administration, Biden-Harris, and you cannot tell me the policies that these people created to fund Black Americans.
State government, county government, city government, school districts. How are you going to do that? Right now, you have an assault on federal workers because of MAGA. Black people over-index in federal worker jobs. We are a higher percentage of workers in the federal government than we are in the population of the United States. There are more Black people who have high five-figure and six-figure jobs in government than we do in corporate America. So when you begin to see those attacks on the federal level, you're then going to begin to see Black people not be able to get the jobs in corporate America, which now means you can't buy a house. You means you cannot save money. You cannot invest money. You cannot afford to send your kids to college. And then when they cut Pell Grants, you can't send your kids to college to HBCUs because you don't have the $75 and $80 and $100,000 a year job, because now what are you going to be able to do? And so I need people to understand, Larry, this is what happens when you choose not to exercise.
All right. So again, what he's saying is crazy because he's focused on the federal workers. Yes, there is a large population of federal workers, but majority of them live in the DC, DMV area. However, when you look at the number, when you look at the data, 70% of Black Americans make 35,000 K or less a year. 70%. So this fool is only talking about 10% of all of Black America, or less number than that. Probably less than 5% of Black Americans make up federal jobs out of the Black population. So he takes something so small and exaggerates it, and he sprinkles all this race bigotry stuff on it. It's like a scare tactic. Are you serious? Don't tell me my mouse battery went out. 65 passengers in a river. Check it out in the chat. Okay, wait a minute. What is going on with the plane crash? What airline? What kind of? They said it was a small plane. I don't know. I gotta look into that. I'm a federal employee. I don't have a problem with Trump giving employees an option of being bought out or come back to work 5 days a week. People got right. So he's not fired. He's giving you an option. But the point I'm trying to make here is he's just talking about black federal workers. That is nowhere near even half of the black population. So what is he really talking about when you're talking about the numbers here, when you're talking about employment? But I wanted to play this woman here.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins.
Oh, that's a commercial.
Trouble. You can look at them and tell you could be trouble. That's what they are saying right now to black people in the federal government, Nola.
First and foremost, it's just plain old school racism. No more, no less. Just plain old school racism, nothing new. But you know, one of the most successful tricks ever played on black folks is to convince a large population of us that education does not matter. Why do you think people work so hard trying to convince people that higher education does not matter? It's a reason. It's a reason, as you alluded to earlier, Roland, as you were talking about Ronald Reagan and, you know, raising the price of education. My parents met at LSU, the New Orleans campus, which is now UNO. And my daddy always tells this story about how he paid my mama's tuition. He paid my mama's tuition out of his pocket. And then fast forward, 15 years later, you have to take out a second mortgage to send your child to school. Or that child gets in debt starting out their professional careers, right? So this conversation about, oh, you uppity Negroes, you know, trying to bring back the talent and 10th and all that stuff. At the end of the day, it is so easy, Roland and everybody on this panel, to my colleagues, to seduce angry, ignorant people. And I'm not calling folks out there ignorant, but what I'm saying is, it is.
I'm calling the ignorant. Go ahead.
I knew you were gonna come in. I knew you were gonna come in.
I'm gonna call the ignorant.
I knew I could rely on you for that assist. What I'm saying is it's part of the strategy. It's part of the strategy to target a certain population because they are thinking of you as ignorant, right? They are thinking of you as gullible. In the social sciences, it's called conditioning, right? So you condition people to respond the way that you want them to respond. And that is what we are seeing. And we saw so much of it, Roland. We saw so much of it over, you know, this administration, especially during those 107 days with Kamala. There was so much debate. You know, there were people that were mad that she spent.
I didn't realize I was muted. Sorry. What I want to say here is who is ignorant? Who are they talking about? Who's ignorant? Just because someone does not align with your ideology or with your politics, why are they ignorant? Why is a black person ignorant if they support Trump or if they're a Republican or if they voted for Trump or voted Republican? What has the Democrats done for black Americans? During the Biden administration, they had 4 years to advance and to protect black Americans, and they did nothing. No reparations, no retributions, no public policies, no laws, no nothing. So who's ignorant? Who's naive here? I think Roland Martin and his get along gang, they're ignorant. They're naive because you are trying to convince and scare black Americans that Trump is a racist, bad guy, and Biden and Harris they saved black people. And they did not. They actually did the opposite because their focus were on illegals, LGBTQ, and immigrants. And wealthy white liberals. And some white women. But they use black suffering to get votes and gain support, to make black people continue to feel like they're a victim, and they're not. But there were no public policy passed. Trump today, he signed anti-Semitism bill. He also signed his first piece of legislation, the Lincoln Raleigh Act. Yes, it was a white girl who got murdered by an illegal immigrant, right? And that's a thing here in America, to where if it happens to a young white girl, then shit get done when it comes to laws. However, everybody else benefits from it. So what laws have the Biden-Harris administration petitioned for, fought for, passed, signed, executive orders or public policies that is going to help Black Americans, especially now that we're defunded, right? We were never funded. We were not funded under the prior administration. But as an American, we will be funded under the Trump administration. It just may not be Black on it. But at the same time, you tell me what Black law official, public official, senator, House representative, mayor, governor, or what Black person who heads a political organization went and sat and talked to the Trump administration about Black America. Where's the ask? Where's the demand? No matter who is sitting in the White House, you have to have representation for your group there, so that you can have public policies and resources allocated to your group. Jewish people, they already met with Trump. White women, even LGBTQ, as quiet as it's kept. Immigrants, Muslims, they all met. Where is the Black representation sitting down with Trump to talk about Black America? So I'm not going to constantly do content on Roland Martin. What I am doing is highlighting the ignorance of this Black media trying to push back against the Trump administration and everything. And then they want to put racism on top of it. Oh my God, he got rid of DEI. It's over for us. Oh my God, he's defunding Black Americans. No. So yes, you will be seeing more content of me pushing back that narrative, but I'm going to be coming with numbers. I'm going to be coming with data. I'm going to be coming with compare and contrast of this administration compared to the Biden administration. Trump first term in office compared to Obama when it comes to Black America and Americans. Because what they're talking about here is nothing but ignorant bullshit lies. But that's how they get their check. Roland Martin views tripled. He gets like 6,000, close to 10,000 every time he go live daily, because he's talking about the opposition of Trump. But a lot of people who are talking or who are pro-Trump, depending on who they are, them views either stay the same or they dropped. Media is very important, which is why George Soros bought up 400 radio stations or streaming services to control the narrative. And the narrative is Trump is still a racist. Trump is taking us backwards. Trump is the bad guy. Trump is deporting children and separating families. Trump administration is inhumane. They're trying to control the narrative. And I'm here to give the correct perspective. Yes, the new Black media should cancel Roland Martin and others like him. Now, last thing, let's get to Robert F. Kennedy's confirmation. Because this is him getting into a heated back and forth with Pocahontas. Senator Elizabeth, quote, Pocahontas Warren, has a meltdown after RFK refused to commit to not suing pharmaceutical companies.
you financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's you financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturing across our country. And for all of his talk about follow the science and his promise that he won't interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, the bottom line is the same. Kennedy can kill off access to vaccines and make millions of dollars while he does it. Kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
Senator, I support vaccines. I support the childhood schedule.
So basically, she's upset that he will allow pharmaceuticals to be sued. What is wrong with that? Pharmaceutical companies have paid out millions and billions of dollars in the past as payouts to avoid, I guess, a public lawsuit. But pharmaceutical companies should be sued. They do more harm than good. They overcharge people. They buy politicians, Republicans and Democrats. They're very powerful. They dictate your health insurance policies and claims. They dictate the price of health insurance. So yes, they should be sued. There needs to be some type of regulation when we're talking about the pharmaceutical industry. That's a very evil industry. So this is another clip. RFK Jr. is dismantling the deep state, says unless we address the chronic disease epidemic, we are rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic.
My understanding is that the executive order that was issued today, which I haven't seen, but I've read a summary.
Well, let me ask you this then, because you keep citing the Trump administration and you're just going to follow what they say. Is that what you're doing? You're just a rubber stamp for them in this position? So anybody, so it doesn't matter that you're before us. It could be anybody coming before us as long as they're a rubber stamp for this administration and disregarding your beliefs and what you think. I guess my question to you is, if it really is fundamental to what you believe, how do you live with that? How do you address those issues as you're moving forward, knowing that it's going to harm Americans? Yeah.
You want me to answer the question?
No, I'm asking you.
Okay. President Trump has asked me to end the chronic disease epidemic and make America healthy again. And
so is that the only reason why you're at HHS? Is that the only reason why then you're at the HHS, to address that one issue?
President Trump has asked me because I'm in a unique position to end that. And that is what I'm doing. And if we don't solve that problem, Senator, all of the other disputes we have about who's paying, and whether it's insurance companies, whether it's providers, whether it's HMOs, whether it's patients or families, all of those are moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. Our ship is sinking. Our 60% increase in Medicaid over the past 4 years is the biggest budget line now, and it's growing faster than any other. And no other nation in the world has what we have here. No other nation has a chronic disease. We have the highest chronic disease burden of any country in the world. We had, during COVID, we had 16% of the COVID deaths in a country. We only have 4.2% of the world's population. We had a higher death count than any country in the world. And when CDC was asked why, they said it's because Americans are the sickest people on earth. The average person who died from COVID, American, had 3.8 chronic diseases. This is an existential threat economically, to our military, to our health, to our sense of well-being. And it is a priority for President Trump. And that's why he asked me to run the agency. And if I'm privileged to be confirmed, that's exactly what I'll do.
All right. they gave him hell. And I could tell he was frustrated. But he knew that his confirmation was going to be hard because there are a lot of people who don't like him because of his legacy, his family. And two, they don't like the fact that he is pushing back against these pharmaceutical companies. He's trying to hold them responsible. And they don't like the fact that, he wants parents to have more say so. He's questioning vaccinations. He wrote a book. It's a lot of things that is going on with our food, with the toxins. A lot of things that's going on in the vaccines and the medicine. He talked about autism. He's very knowledgeable. And I think the fear is his approach is kind of unorthodox, but I think that's a good thing because he always referenced the farmers a lot. Help the farmers. Stop monopolizing the farming industry, the agriculture industry, and that's when Monsanto's comes into play. I'm gonna have to do a whole 30-minute research breaking down Monsanto's. They are the devil. But anyway, hopefully Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Gets confirmed. He had a lot of support come there. There were some interruptions during his confirmation, but it was a heated one. Thursday, tomorrow, I will be going live because I'm going to air the Kash Patel confirmation. Yes, Kash Patel is supposed to be head of the FBI. That's going to be a really big one. That's going to be a really big one. Hey there, Dana. They hate people who tell the truth. Exactly. They do. Black farmers got ripped off here in Cali. So let me see. I did have a couple of super chats. If I could pull it up. I believe Dalton actually did call for a recall for Tiffany, but Tiff got her lawyers to overturn a recall. Okay. Listen, does she know her job? Yes. But it's her behavior. It's her behavior. This was from earlier. Dana looks like Dora the Explorer. She's cute. Thank you. I take it as a compliment. But then you have this person here. Is it me or does Dana hat make Dana look old? No, bitch, I don't look old. Not with this hat. Not with my cowboy hat. And I need to get a couple more different colors. I heard the White House is now allowing independent media to come. Will you be applying? I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into that and apply. Also, thank you to Walter for the $10 Cash App. I did shout out Courtney and Natasha for the super chat. Guys, please make sure you hit the like button. What is this? Big Pharma Industrial Complex got too comfortable pushing dangerous drugs and putting their representative in our public watchdog offices. Yeah. Did Biden fund black farmers? That's great if he did do that. Yes, senators and House representatives, they get paid big bucks by Big Pharma. Yes, they're lobbyists. Yes, they fund them on both sides of the aisle, the Republicans and the Democrats. And here you have Robert F. Kennedy, an independent, right? He coming in there like, listen, I don't have no ties to them. I'm coming here to do the right thing. Hold them accountable. So I'm sure that the Democrats going to push back because yes, they're being funded by pharmaceutical companies. That's why Pocahontas was pissed off. You gonna allow for the pharmaceutical companies to be sued? Yes, bitch. All right, guys. So listen. I'm supposed to record with the judge tomorrow, and if we do, I will upload that tomorrow night, Thursday night. And I am going live tomorrow morning because I want to stream Kash Patel's confirmation. And I want you guys to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell button to get all notifications because I am going to be doing a lot of uploads. Yes. A lot of times it's easier when I go live and I could just talk about different things. And what I do, I go back, chop it up, and upload it. But also, I find that when I pre-record new content that wasn't during a live, that does very well as well. So I'm going to be doing a mixture of both. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you as always to P. Ray. Love P. Ray. She's very passionate, very knowledgeable, and she's right. Stop disrespecting Black women. Stop disrespecting women. People do have a problem with women who are in certain positions, powerful positions. But women don't need to be fighting men. Women don't need to be jumping into fights. Women don't need to be jumping into men fights, right? But women do need to be respected. That is for sure. And with that, what do you think about honey, I was about to read that article. What was her beef? I don't give a damn about no Carolyn Kennedy because she is a Democrat. So, she's a Democrat. So she knows where her bread is buttered. Let's talk about what happened to your brother. Because I don't think that was just an accident. All right, guys. So I will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you for tuning in. Good night. All right.